you are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. And why are the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. No explanation needed. The Commanders just suck. They suck. Straight up suck. Welcome to the Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free once again and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I have 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. Oh, time out on the field. I gotta move the chair for my buddy Manny here. Hold on. All right, buddy. Hold on. Oh, watch your hand. Okay, come on in. All right, range here. We can continue. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And also, if you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share it, that would be absolutely freaking awesome. And then finally, also, in the description box below, a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, it's a, I'm an old-time fart. I hate change. Get off my lawn. I'm one of them old-time farts, right? It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It'll be Twitter today, Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, when I'm long gone, it'll be Twitter. It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's a promise. I put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day, right? So as I said, if you want to follow me back, all right? I will follow you back, as I said. Absolute promise. And then the link just above it is my Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. We have over 7,900 members in the group. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group, Darnay 365. Not only do I put stuff in here, but members post stuff in here as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton. There's a boatload. There's an awful lot of New York Giants information going in this group every day. Darnay 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, with all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, well, I mean, I saw this article on Reddit and all and everything, and you can kind of, I guess, kind of feel Darren Waller a little bit, see kind of like where he's kind of going and everything. I mean, because, the past few seasons, he's been a little injury plagued. Now, of course, he still has some football left in him and all that and everything. But unfortunately, just the way things are, it's not getting any better. You know what I mean? So, he knows going into this season, I mean, I don't know. It seems like he has to bubble wrap himself. And even when he does bubble wrap himself, he's still good. Anything, maybe, pull it or get something going with the hamstrings. It's, Obviously it's never going away. It's just going to stay the same or maybe get worse. And I guess maybe that kind of, I don't know, maybe taking a little bit of fun out of it for him. Not sure. After the season the Giants had last season, maybe that took a little bit of fun out of it for him. Yeah. I mean, man, you saw, what were we, 2-8 at one point? I mean, that could just suck the soul right out of you, right? So then he's like, oh, man, we're 6-11. We're losing all these players, this, that, and the other thing, and I'm still stuck on the same team. Oh, my God. Man, retirement ain't too bad. So, but, I mean, he's set to make, pretty penny. He'll do well if he winds up hanging around, wants to stay around. I mean, I don't know how much longer he's going to want to play, but sadly, and I say this to anybody, I don't wish injuries on nobody. I mean, I can't stand the Cowboys and the Eagles. Respectfully, despise them. It is what it is. But I mean, I don't want any of those guys to get injured. I don't want nobody to get injured. Unfortunately, it's a violent game. Big guys going at, some of these freaking guys are warp speed, and it's amazing guys at 300 pounds, how fast they can run, how strong they are, and all that stuff. And everything. I mean, going just at fast speeds, it's, even, all the NFL is trying to do to make it safer, trying to eliminate concussions and try to take away the chop blocking and going at the quarterback below their knee and, all the stuff that they're doing. When you tackle, you can't leave with your helmet. You got to have your head, all that. Can't hit a defenseless receiver, not like you could back in the 70s. You could just pile drive a dude and just knock him out, injury's still going to happen. It is what it is. I mean, it's part of the game. I mean, it's kind of like NASCAR. You don't want nobody getting hurt. Obviously, you don't want no accidents, nobody getting, injured or anything like that. Sometimes, unfortunately, people wind up dying, but I mean, it's part of the sport. It comes with the territory. But I mean, I could certainly see where, it's just, looking back at it, it's like, it's not going to get any better, maybe about time to retire. But let's see. Where are we? Here we go. Darren Waller was close to retiring after the disappointing first season with the Giants. From the New York Post. Why is this news? Well, following the 2023 season, Waller expressed to individuals in the Giants organization that he was contemplating retirement, sources told the Post. His first year with the team did not go as planned. He got hurt again, and he had only one touchdown reception. Now, I mean, to be fair, if he played the whole season, which he's not going to, he didn't, obviously, and he's not going to play the whole season this year. I mean, he was on pace for at least 70, 75 receptions and probably at least 800 yards. Now, obviously, the touchdowns, it is what it is. The Giants, I think, scored, 3 touchdowns all last season. So you're only going to score so many touchdowns, but he was on pace for at least 70 or 75 receptions and over 800 yards receiving, which ain't bad considering we had no offense. Imagine if we had an offense. He would have had well over probably 1,000 yards receiving. Might have had about the same amount of receptions. Maybe a little bit more, right? But things would have opened up. We had a better offense. But it is what it is. It's seen as if once again, he's 31 too, right? Seemed as if the 31-year-old tight end might have thought it was time to bid adieu to the NFL. Last year, Waller released his second rap album, Walking Miracle. Well, I guess he has his priorities, set after football. Looks like he's going to maybe try to be a rapper. Maybe we'll see. Waller is not walking away. A Giants source confirmed Friday that Waller will play for the team in 2024. So, I mean, it might wind up being also where after 2024, he might retire or whatever, I mean, the Giants are definitely, without question, definitely going to need, some reinforcements at the tight end position. Waller's just a placeholder. Now, as I said, whether he plays 2024 and maybe he comes back for the 2025, who knows? But he'll be back for the 2024 season. But I mean, once again, he's just like a placeholder. He's holding the baton for the next guy to come in. So I mean, the Giants said maybe next year, right? Might need to, because you got Bellinger who's good with his hands. He'll get you some receptions. He needs to do better blocking. Hold on a second. Everybody, good boy. All right. Sorry, I sometimes I'm not sure if he's snoring or what he's doing in there. I think he's taking a nap. But we're definitely going to need another tight end. And I mean, if you want to really make this the offensive unit really dynamic, and we're not drafting Brock. I highly doubt we're drafting Brock Bowers. But I mean, you're going to need somebody, a good tight end, a good receiving tight end, some type of a threat tight end. And I'll tell you what, if we draft like Odunze, if we got Wan'Dale Robinson, if we got Hyatt, we have, Odunze. I'm not sure if we're going to have Saquon back or not, more than that in just a couple minutes here. But, I mean, you can draft a running back too. But if we get our offensive line situated, we have Bellinger, who, he needs to block better. He needs to block better than he did last season. But I'm saying if you can get yourself some type of a little more dynamic receiving tight end, the Giants, I mean, Wan'Dale, this will be his third season. This will be Jaylen going into this season. Hyatt's second season. If we draft Nabers or Odunze, they'll be a rookie. This will be Bellinger's third season. So we got a nice young core guys, receivers / tight ends and all, right? So I'm saying, once again, this is something, we're built. It's not going to happen overnight. With Shane, it's still going to take time, right? So maybe next season, maybe we can go after a tight end, right? Draft a tight end, maybe whatever, first round, second round, maybe somewhere around there, right? You can certainly get if Saquon's here or not, who knows? But I'm saying you can certainly grab a good running back in the third or fourth round. Then you'd have a bunch of young studs, between running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, young guys that have all been drafted by Shane and moving forward, right? And, if we can ever get the offensive line situated, which we could this season, quite could, then, of course, then the other question is, we get the quarterback situated. We'll have to wait and see. But, as I said with Waller, it's just a shame. You feel bad for the guy. And you feel bad for us too, because if he wasn't going to get with his hamstrings all the time, we can certainly get more production out of him. That's for sure. He is due to make $10.5 million in base salary this season and count $14 million toward the salary cap. He will not be a cap casualty. The Post learned. So I mean, for him to come back, he's coming back to a nice little payday there, right? Giants want him back and hope he can stay healthy and be a more robust contributor to the offense than he was in 2023. The Giants acquired Waller. We know that. Sending the third-round pick to the Raiders. In 2019 and 2020, Waller combined for 197 receptions, 2,341 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So, I mean, he averaged like almost 100 receptions a season, and he averaged like 1,150 yards, 1,170 yards a season. So, I mean, for those 2 seasons, he was pretty special. But, of course, it was 2020. So, 2021, 22, 23, this always be 4 or 5 years ago, when those things happen. Series of hamstring issues caused him to miss a total of 14 games in 2021, 2022, and the Raiders had seen enough. And, of course, the time that he missed last season with the Giants, I mean, he's missed like in the last 3 seasons, he's missed, like 19 or 20 games in the last 3 seasons. So with the Giants, Waller could not rise above the dysfunction of the offensive line and the revolving door at quarterback. He strained a hamstring in week 8 and missed 5 games. Waller finished the season with 52 catches for 552 yards. So I said, so he missed basically not quite a third of the season, but so he was on par. He could have, if he didn't miss those 5 games, he played 12. So played 12 games. He caught 52 catches. So basically, it's like 4.5 catches a game. So basically, almost like every 2 games, he would have like about 9 catches. So you figure the 5 games he missed, he probably would caught another 20 passes. All right. So, I mean, he was on pace for at least 70 to 75 catches. Now, I don't know if he would have got another touchdown or not. Who knows? But, I mean, he was on pace for 700, maybe 800 yards receiving, 750, 800 yards. So, I mean, hey, that's not bad, especially for a revolving door at quarterback, a porous offensive line, lack of production in the offensive. I mean, it's not bad. That ain't bad, right? His lone touchdown came against week 7 against the Commanders, holding in a 15-yard touchdown pass from Tyrod Taylor. Let's see. Waller has salary cap hits of 15.4 in 2025 and 17.4 in 2026, and it remains to be seen if he even gets there. That's true. For now, though, the plan is for Waller to run it back with the Giants for at least one more season. So that's nice. That's huge. As I said, the Giants, they got their blocking tight end this season. As for the time being, we have Waller. You don't know what free agency is going to happen. Come about. I said the Giants might do. They might draft another tight end in the 4th round, 5th round, somewhere around there. Maybe somebody who's a little bit better of a blocker, right? So then, like I say, then maybe next season, once again, just throwing things out there. Maybe in free agency when the Giants have some money. I don't know if there's a good tight end that's going to be let loose. I don't know. But, the Giants will have some money next season. Maybe they can bring somebody in. Once again, I don't know, or they can draft somebody in the early rounds, maybe a 2nd round pick or something like that. Right? That way you have a bunch of young studs between the receivers, the tight ends. You maybe grab another running back. You have some young running backs. Everybody be nice and young going forward. Right? So we'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, I'm happy he'll be back. And as I said, I mean, unfortunately, just the way it is with the hamstring, it's just you can almost, just pencil it in. You just don't know what that there's a box here. Darren Waller will miss box games this season for the New York Giants. You're not sure what the figure is going to be in that box. You're not sure if it's going to be 3, if it's going to be 7, it's going to be 2, 5, whatever. But unfortunately, it's I'm sure Dable's going to be well aware of that and everything. Hopefully, the new strength and conditioning coach and hopefully maybe can do something for him. Who knows? But I mean, I said you can pretty much just pencil stuff in. He's going to miss at least a little bit of time this season. Hopefully, not too much, but right. But I mean, I said, whether we get Saquon back or not, who knows? But I'm saying if we do draft one of those wide receivers. Once again, everything's relative, right? And now you just can't, focus in a wall, right? If you got Hyatt streaking down there, you got Robinson, the gadget guy, running all over the frickin' place, maybe not down deep, but behind the line of scrimmage, all over the frickin' place. You got Waller maybe down the seam or something like Hyatt down there. Then you got Odunze or Nabers frickin', creating all kinds of havoc. I mean, hey, and then let's not forget about Slayton, the speed that guy's got. I mean, I'm not saying we got a top 5 receiving core now, but I'll tell you what, we just got a heck of a lot better, right? If we draft one of those guys. And then we don't have to hear, the Giants need a number 1 wide receiver. No, we don't have to hear that no more. Don't have to hear that no more. At least quite some time. Right? So, all right. And then, say it ain't so, Saquon. Oh, man. Report Giants Saquon Barkley targeting the Texans as top designation. Now, every year, of course, you got, and I tell you what, it was really nice and refreshing seeing the Texans back in there. Very, very good. They got a nice young team. They was it the wild card round? They really smoked the Browns. Didn't quite make it, in the 2nd round. But, they I think at halftime of that game against the Ravens, wasn't too bad. They got blown out in the 2nd half. But, if he goes to the Texans, They got some money to spend. They do. I'm not sure if it says in this article or not, but the Texans do have some money to spend. They got more money to spend than the Giants do. So the Giants would like to have Saquon Barkley back to remain in East Rutherford at the right price. But as free agency looms, other potential designations are beginning to emerge. Ooh. Longtime NFL journalist Aaron Wilson of KPRC2 Houston, reports that Barkley has been communicating with C.J. Stroud this offseason and views the Houston Texans as his top designation. I thought Saquon said he wanted to be here, wanted to be a Giant for life. Okay. The Texans are also expected to explore additional running back options, and there are scenarios where they sign more than one running back. The headliner of this running back free agency class is Saquon Barkley, who has targeted the Texans as his top potential destination, and has been communicating with Stroud, per league sources. Barkley could, of course, remain with the Giants potentially, as General Manager Joe Schoen is holding talks with former NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year's agent Edward Berry of Creative Artists Agency, CAA. Barkley interacts with many of his NFL counterparts, so the fact that he's spoken to Stroud means, it doesn't mean, oh my God, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean, right? And any leak of the Texans being his desired location could merely be a negotiation tactic. Absolutely. I mean, all of a sudden, Barkley's, this coming out just the same time, right? That, that Shane is talking to his agent, right? It could also be legitimate. If Barkley doesn't return to the Giants in 2024, he'd like to play for a team capable of winning a Super Bowl. And, doesn't always mean, because there's always that turnover once again in the playoffs. A lot of teams that make it one year don't wind up making it the next year. So there's always that turnover. But, you can certainly see that the Texans, building upon what they had last season, got a nice young core of guys, and they have some money to spend. Obviously, you don't want to go out in free agency and bring in 315 free agents and throw them in your team and think you're going to go to the Super Bowl. That's not the way to do it. You want to sprinkle in a couple guys here and there to help out. You want to basically build your team through the draft, right? But but hey, they did well last season. There's really no reason why they couldn't maybe do the same this season. So, with Stroud under center, Stroud. Well, that's a misprint there. They got Strout. I guess nobody. No. I guess nobody pre-read this here. It's Stroud with Stroud under center. How about Stroud? With Stroud under center in 2023, the Texans compiled a 10-7 record, won the AFC South, and dominated the Cleveland Browns as on Super Wild Card Weekend. Man, I love Super Wild Card Weekend. Man, that is just those 2 weekends back to back. You got 4, the games you got. Just love it, absolutely love it. Although Houston took one on the chin in the divisional round against the Baltimore Ravens, their trajectory is clear. They're a young, talented team capable of making real noise in the coming years. Yeah, talented, nice, talented team. Young, talented team. In addition to a player like Barkley, assuming he stays healthy, would help move the needle for the Texans. It would be a union that makes sense for both parties. And as I said, I was listening to Patty Traynor today, and she was talking about something about this. And I think she said that the Texans have over $60 million to spend, too. So, they can certainly throw some money at Saquon. Once again, they're not, not going to throw, 13, 14 million a season at him. That's just straight up crazy. But, they can maybe offer, what the Giants, maybe close to what the Giants are offering, but they can maybe up the guaranteed money a little bit, make it a little bit sweeter. Plus, I think also Patty Traynor said there's no income tax, I think, in where the Texans are at. So obviously, so whatever Saquon gets, he's going to keep more of it, which is huge as well too. Let's not forget about that. But let's not also forget that this is the media capital of the world around in New York, so he can make more money on the side or whatever, right, than he probably could down there in Houston. I mean, Houston, I mean, obviously there's money to be made down there too, but I'm sure, but if any, I think him being the face of the Giants makes more sense as far as making some extra money on the side. So let's not forget that. So, I mean, any money that he might lose with income tax or whatever because he's with the Giants, I'm sure he can more than make up for it with endorsements because he's in New York and he's pretty much the face of the New York Giants. I'm not sure if he'd be if he goes down there, I'm not sure if he's going to be the face of the Houston Texans. That might be Stroud. He might be the new face of the Houston Texans. But I mean, as of right now, he's the face of the Giants. I mean, people see you see a blue jersey with 26 on it. You know who it is. You don't even have to say it, right? So, but we'll have to wait and see. But then also the other interesting thing too, is that interesting to see if if there's smoke, maybe there's a little bit of fire. Maybe Shane picks him up or picks the phone up and say, "Hey, interested in Saquon?" Okay, let's make a deal, baby. All right, we're gonna franchise tag him or whatever or something, And if you want him, give us a 3rd round pick, and he's all yours, right? So I mean, what would behoove, the Giants / Shane / us fans, everything like that, is if you lose Saquon, try to get something now instead of like maybe next season. Because if we get a compensatory pick, if we lose like McKinney, maybe Isaiah Simmons, Adoree Jackson, Saquon Barkley, if we lose some boomers like those guys, we bring in like our biggest signing might be a guard or something like that. I mean, might get some compensatory picks, but that would be next season. Right? If we want to try to help ourselves this season, right? Maybe you can, do something with tag and trade. Tag Saquon, and then, if somebody wants to, make an offer, we'll give you a 3rd round pick for him. Okay. You're not getting a 1st round pick. I don't know if you get a 2nd round pick for him, but maybe a 3rd round pick for a guy. 7th season. That wouldn't be bad. If we had a 1st, we had 2 seconds and 2 thirds, and then the 4th, and that means we'd have what? What the heck would that be? With 6 picks? Is that 6? You have 6 picks in the top 107, 108 of this draft this year. Now we're talking, baby. Now you can get yourself should get at least 3 starters. And we got 6 picks in the top 107 or 8, possibly 3 or 4 starters and maybe a couple good depth pieces. That wouldn't be bad. As I said, I mean, you don't want to use Saquon as like a pawn or something like that or whatever. But hey, you just doing you want to do what's best for him, but you're also trying to do what's best for the Giants too. And if that means maybe tagging them and trading them, right? Why go empty-handed? Why leave empty-handed? Take something with you, right? So if you want Saquon, okay, it's all yours. All right, if we can't, work something out with them, but we'd like to get something in return, maybe this season, right? Let's get something, a person, a draft pick that can help us this season, so that way, because they're going to need to show some improvement this season without question. Another 6-11 debacle like we had last season. Things are really going to start getting a little hot. So if the Giants can maybe get an additional 3rd round pick to help this season, that would be huge. Then we got, I've seen good old Malik Nabers. Let's see. Nabers and Odunze is excited about meetings with New York Giants, which is nice. That's good. That's good to hear. Right? Because there's a good chance, either one might be coming to the Giants. There's a real good chance there. the thing is, once again, is we don't with the Giants, they got to get the offensive line situated because it doesn't. You can have 13 Jerry Rices at the snap of the ball, running out, running patterns, and all this. If the quarterback doesn't have any more than half a second to throw a football, it doesn't matter who's running the patterns. It doesn't matter who's throwing the football. Don't matter. Right? So they have to get the offensive line situated. Right? But at least they had apparently had some good meetings. It says Malik Nabers and Rome Odunze both have the New York Giants' attention in the team's quest to find a game-changing wide receiver. Nabers, the dynamic 6 foot, 200-pound playmaking wide receiver from LSU, is the player most often selected for the Giants in the mock draft. He acknowledged on Friday that he knows the Giants are hunting for a wide receiver number 1. I know they're looking for a wide receiver 1, especially after Odell left. So he would know that coming from LSU. If I can come in and be that guy, so be it, he said. Nabers said the Giants love dogs, and he is one. There you go, baby. You like somebody with with that attitude. That's good. I'm able to go outside and win. I'm able to go at slot. I'm able to be moved around, create space on a linebacker. I know I can carry the ball pretty good. He said he different offense can move me around and still get that dog mentality. When that ball is in the air, it's mine. You like to hear that. When I get the ball in my hands, I'm able to do tremendous things with it, create space on different defensive backs and be able to make explosive plays downfield. That's what you want to hear, baby. Take an 8-yard route and turn it into a touchdown. You know it, frickin' brother. Way to go, pal. Frickin' love hearing that stuff. Here is part of the scouting report on Nabers from the Draft Network. Now, a lot of times I'm also, you listen to all these draft gurus, and once again, they know 300 trillion times what I do because I don't sit there and watch film 800 hours a day. Ain't doing it, not going to do it, never done it, never going to do it. They trade their lives for this information. So I basically, if I'm driving around or something like that, I'll listen to them talking while I'm driving around. So I'm doing two things with one stone, right? I'm driving around and I'm listening to what these guys got to say, and they got some phenomenal information. So, but a lot of what I'm hearing also is like, it's kind of close to 50-50. It's some of the guys say, I got Nabers going to the Giants. I think I think what he does, and he's get him in the slot and this and I got Nabers. I got Harrison, Nabers, and Odunze, right? And then other people, you talk to the other half of the people. I got Harrison, I got Odunze, then I got Nabers. I tell you what, if Odunze goes to the Giants, now we're talking. That's my guy going. So. Just what also I'm hearing is you can't really go wrong with any of them. Yeah, and two things is one, Harrison ain't getting to the Giants at 6, right? That's probably you almost pencil that in. Colin Murray, right? Colin Murray dropping back, throwing it to Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what's going to happen there. And unless the Patriots want to forego quarterback, nobody trades up with them and say they take Harrison, right? That wouldn't be bad. But one day, I said, and it's hard to go wrong with either one of these guys. Both one guy's Odunze is maybe a little bit better outside, a little higher, a little taller, right? But maybe a little better outside. Nabers is fantastic, in the slot. You can kind of move him around and all that stuff. And I really can't go wrong with either one. Just the stuff I'm hearing. You're not going to be disappointed with either one. Right. And you can almost kind of pencil it in. If we get Nabers or Odunze, it's number 1, wide receiver number 1, finally. Right. And another thing I'm hearing, and I haven't checked anybody's health or nothing like that, but listen to Harrison, Nabers, and Odunze, all the guys talking. Everything coming out of their mouth is how good they are. But I haven't heard nothing. Well, but I'll tell you what, Nabers this, but we gotta make sure we remember Odunze. Remember, remember he had that ACL injury 2 years ago, so we got to keep, I'm not hearing nothing about any injury problems or nothing like that. So hopefully, whichever one of those guys if we wind up picking them, we're going to get a good, nice, clean guy, right? Who can make a difference for the New York Giants, without question. Let's see here. Nabers is a receiver who can be versatile in his usage on the field and plays with a high level of physicality and passion for the game. Nabers thrives in contested catch situations on 50-50 balls and converts those passes at a high level when he is targeted. The most dominant part of Nabers' game appears to be his run after catch ability. Nabers is quick and shifty with the ability to make the first defender miss, but he also has a strong lower half, which allows him to power through arm tackles and become difficult for defensive backs to tackle one-on-one. Overall, Nabers shows to be a physically dominant receiver that can win in all areas of the field, dominating the short to intermediate passing game while also being used to take vertical shots down the field. Now, the thing is, too, it's also, like with Nabers, if you put him in the slot, okay, that's an all, but I mean, that's what we, do have Robinson for. He's kind of a little slotty kind of guy. So we'll have to wait and see. Here is Odunze on Friday morning, and he was talking about his meeting with the Giants. He said that went pretty well. He said they were quizzing me on some film, getting to know who I was. I was getting to know them, Odunze said. I think it went well. I was excited to meet them. I feel like they're good dudes, honestly. They just seemed like they had joy in the room. They were excited about the process. They knew ball, of course, and were excited about their future. I think good things will come. They were asking him about like certain plays and patterns and stuff like that and everything he mentioned. Odunze has a different body type than Nabers. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, so he's got the size to him, right? He has a large goal for his NFL future. He has a large goal. A successful career would be ending in the Hall of Fame, Odunze said, being one of the best to ever play the game. Odunze is confident that he has what it takes to be a quality NFL player. I've shown all the skills that can translate to the NFL at high level, he said. I think a lot of people underrate my speed, my explosiveness. See a lot of that on tape and my separation as well. I don't know where those things come from. If you watch the entire tape, you'll see. People say it's 50-50 for me. Well, people say it's 50-50, but for me, it's 100-0, right? He said, I feel like you're going to have to go in with that mindset that it's you and the ball. The defender is not even there. Just go and elevate and get the ball, and you'll come down with it. Now, once again, the Draft Network talks about him. Rome Odunze has the combination of height, weight, and speed that NFL teams look for in an X-receiver. He added 15 pounds before last season to improve his physicality, and it worked. He dominates at the catch point and plays well through contact. Michael Penix Jr. trusts Odunze in big-time moments to either win or close a game late. The combination of hand-eye coordination, leaping ability, and body control surely made trusting Odunze easier in 2023. His functional strength is evidenced once the ball is in the air to generate yards after catch. Odunze is an outstanding wide receiver prospect. He projects as a potential star wide receiver one for an NFL offense. His alignment versatility paired with impressive height, weight, and speed provides an offense coordinator with a chess piece on offense. Odunze can win with route running, speed, and ball skills. He is a plus run blocker that gives full effort. He is a complete wide receiver prospect and a day one starter as a rookie. Gotta love that, baby. So, regardless of who, it's looking more and more like the Giants. Got quite possibly take the wide receiver, but once again, 2 months away, right? 2 months away. Still got free agency popping up, so we'll have to wait and see. But it also leads me to my next point, as we're talking about. You always got somebody starts crawling into the top 10 or top 15 or top half of the first draft. And somebody always got somebody rising, right? And I'm starting to hear like more and more about Mr. McCarthy, right? The national champion himself, quarterback. One thing you got to look at too, is that don't get me wrong. I ain't saying he ain't no Tom Brady. I'm not saying that. But one thing that Bill Belichick said about Tom Brady, when they were drafting him, Belichick didn't say, "Oh, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer." No, he didn't say that. But he did say pretty much all he did was win. Every time you put him in the game, like in Michigan, he'd either win the game, or if they were losing, he'd take them from behind and win the game. Same thing with McCarthy. Now, the problem with that, like with McCarthy, I think McCarthy, I forgot what they said his record was in high school. Like he won like 1 or 2 state championships in high school. He won a national championship, obviously, in college and all that. So the problem is when you're on a good team and you don't know adversity. I mean, there's adversity. There's always adversity. He had to beat freaking Washington. They had to beat Alabama. So they had to beat Ohio State. So there's adversity. Don't get me wrong there. But when things aren't going that well, you get into an NFL game and you're down 17-0 halfway through the second quarter. You just thrown a pick six and you threw 2 other interceptions. You're halfway through the second quarter. If you completed 3 out of 13 passes, you have 12 yards passing. You got 3 interceptions. You're down 17-0, right? And they're all, and you've been sacked 4 times, right? You start getting a little adversity. What are you going to start doing then, right? So sometimes it's hard to get a good grasp on a guy. Sometimes, when everything is just nothing but roses are handed to him, right? Here you go, here you go, buddy. Here you go. It's so easy. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, right. So sometimes you can find the best, or find out some good things about a guy when he hits adversity. Like Ernie Corsi was kind of saying about Eli Manning, being down at Ole Miss, right? I mean, he doesn't have first-round wide receivers running around and all that stuff. He doesn't have maybe first-round offensive line. Right? It's just him and a bunch of guys, So they were talking about, especially with Ernie Corsi, he was talking about was that, maybe one play, Eli would, Omaha, drop back the pass and look down here and he'd get creamed, right? Then he go back in the huddle, call another play, right? Get the ball, right? Omaha, get the ball, boom, throw a 40-yard touchdown pass the very next play, right? That's what you like to see, right? But I mean, what I'm kind of hearing is that McCarthy's stock is starting to rise. Is starting to rise. It says Michigan's J.J. McCarthy remains an intriguing Daniel Jones successor option for the Giants. But the question would be number 6, though. I don't know. Most of these quarterbacks recall who they met with and have an obligatory, nice comment about the team and the coaches and the whole entire process. J.J. McCarthy rises above the usual recanting of the sit-downs with the teams here. Obligatory. There you go. Here at the NFL Scouting Combine, there is plenty of interest in exploring one of the winningest and most difficult to grade prospects in this draft. McCarthy on Friday was hit with a barrage of inquiries about who he spoke with, and he was able to provide distinct details about every meeting. I did hear that he did a phenomenal job speaking. That I did hear. Oh, I'm sorry, pal. Getting up? All right, buddy. I heard he did a very good job speaking. Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce had great energy. Kevin O'Connell of the Vikings was a lot taller than I thought. Gerard Mayo of the Patriots asked great questions. On and on it went. McCarthy showing a keen sense of the importance of these job interviews with prospective employers. I'm sure, whoever we talked to, I'm sure he probably knocked that out of the park. I heard he did a very good job. The Michigan quarterback this week had a formal meeting with the Giants and noticed that Brian Daboll and his staff wanted to make him feel as if he already were part of the team. All right. The question is number 6. because he's not getting to the Giants. He's not making it to the second round. That's not happening. So, I mean, that's not happening. He's not getting past, probably not getting past 11, 12, or 13. So, I mean, if the Giants want to get him, then they're going to have to go. They're going to have to go, and they're going to have to fall in love with this freaking guy, big time, and take him at number 6. And then it's going to be like, oh my God, all the Giant fans are going to be like, pick 6, another quarterback, right? Let's see. I drew up a play that I can run in every situation. 3rd down, 4th down, 1st down, 2nd down, all that good stuff, McCarthy said. And then the coaches were kind of changing my verbiage and making it their own. It was really nice to kind of get a feel of what that offense would be like. And it was actually a lot more simple. Will McCarthy ever get that chance to use the Giants verbiage? It seemed like a stretch not long ago that McCarthy to the Giants at number 6 would be quite a reach. Though the top tier at that position of Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May could come off the board with the first 3 picks, and none of them are likely to be available for the Giants if they stay put. The next tier is McCarthy and Bo Nix and Michael Penix. Penix with his injury history, I mean, the Giants, if they would draft Penix, would have to be in the 2nd round. There's no way to draft him. Absolutely no way. Those 3 guys is an eye of the beholder prospect. The most draft prognosticators will be surprised if he is taken in the 1st round. The Giants next month could look for the successor of Daniel Jones. There is no denying McCarthy is a winner. Absolutely. Oh, here you go. Let's see. He went 27-1 as a starter in his first 3 seasons at Michigan, going 3-0 against hated rival Ohio State, guiding the Wolverines to the first 15-0 record in Big Ten history as Michigan won the national championship for the first time since 1997. In high school, McCarthy went 26-2 at Nazareth Academy in LaGrange Park, Illinois, and 8-0 at IMG Academy at Bradenton, Florida. So his record between high school and college is 61-3. The man does not know losses. He does, so it makes you kind of wonder, when he goes 61-3 in college and high school, and then he comes to the Giants and he winds up going 6-11. That's adversity. The question arises is how much credit McCarthy should get for all the success in Ann Arbor. McCarthy in 3 years at Michigan attempted 713 passes. Compared that to Nix, who started his college career at Auburn and ended at Oregon. Nix in 5 years for 2 schools attempted 1,936 passes, almost 3 times as many. Right? The volume of throws for Nix allows for a full and complete evaluation. Stats for me wasn't really the big thing, McCarthy said. All I cared about was being the best teammate I could possibly be, being the best quarterback I possibly could be, whatever asked of me, and the only stat I cared about was W's. And we did a pretty good job in that category. Former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh, now with the Chargers, identified a formula to victory, and McCarthy took the keys and drove the Wolverines home. McCarthy threw 332 passes in 2023, next to 470. We were going to run the ball, and if you could stop it, we might have to pass it more. A.J. Barners, Michigan 6'6" tight end, said, I think it's not a knock on J.J. at all. Most teams couldn't stop the run. We passed effectively, too. We were going to have a balanced attack, whether we asked J.J. to throw the ball 15 times or whether we asked him to throw it 45 times. He was completely capable and did a tremendous job either way. McCarthy's not big. Well, he's 6'3", so that's not bad. That's not bad. He's 202 pounds. I mean, he can certainly, without question. We're not asking him to, if he bulks up, his 40 times going to go. No, we're not worried about that. But he can certainly add 15, 20 pounds to his frame. But 6'3", that's not bad. You're like somebody 6'4", 6'5", that would really be good. But at least he's not 6'4", 6'1". 6'3", that would be like the the 6'3", 6'2" would be like the lowest I'd want to go, right? But as I said, 202 pounds, that's not enormous. But if he's like with Daniel Jones, you can see it from his first year to his second year, he definitely added some muscle mass. So same thing with McCarthy here. Say, right, he's 202 after his first year, right? And he goes on, hits the weights or whatever, he puts on 10 pounds. So now his second season, he's 212. Well, then after that, he puts on another 10 pounds. Now he's 220 to 225, 6'3", 225. There you go, right? And at 21 years old, though, he is the youngest of all the top-rated quarterbacks. His size is not a plus for him, but his age is. McCarthy has attracted notice for his unusual pregame meditation routine. For 10 minutes during warm-ups, he sits cross-legged, leaning on the goalpost support, shoes off, hood covering his head, eyes closed. He also meditates for 30 to 40 minutes every morning. It's just another tool that's going to help me handle the process and the pressure, he said. Something that's going to help me in all areas of my life, not just football. McCarthy said he has a little tight hammy, and so he will not participate in the 40-yard dash and long jump during the combine testing. He will throw, though. That's good. And I heard he's very good over the middle. Very, very good over the middle. So his assessment of himself, I would say a tough, gritty guy who only cares about winning at the end of the day. Loves the game of football with a burning passion. Loves his teammates, just pretty much everything you want a starting quarterback to be, I would say. So, I mean, everything you're hearing about him is, real team player, class act, and all that stuff and everything. The thing, I mean, the one thing would be if they were to draft him, there'd be a lot of murmuring. Oh my, another quarterback at 6. Oh my, But it would give Dable at least another season. But he can get his if but he get his hands on them, mold them just the way he'd want them, right? Get him to develop them and to maybe throw in the patterns and all that stuff. What he wants to do. Dable would start calling the plays, right? They'd be their minds would be like one, right? When McCarthy's on the field, and if right, and he's looking over, they know what each one's thinking. Dable knows what he wants him to think when he's looking at. I mean, so but it would give Dable like an extra year or so. But the problem is that you need it would help if we had a good wide receiver, but you could get in the second round. So the Giants went quarterback at 6, but once again, all your chips are in the middle of the table. Then if they did draft McCarthy, then you can pretty much almost ensure that after this season, Daniel Jones will be bye-bye. So then next season, the Giants really have some money to spend. But anyway, also here is a good second round, even the third round, you get yourself some good wide receivers. Now, I don't know if you'll get yourself an elite wide receiver 1 in the second round, but just what I'm hearing, the Giants got 2 picks in the second round. I mean, if they went quarterback in the first round, just say they took McCarthy or anybody, whoever they took, right? Second round, they get themselves a real nice wide receiver. Now, whether he's a 1 or not, but there's some good wide receivers out there that they get in the second round without question. And then in the second round, we got 2 holes of guard. Right, we don't know, Azudu, McKeithen, what are we doing? Bradison, the Mew, I'm sure he's gone. So, are we sliding Neal in? Are we going to slide Neal in and maybe take a right tackle in the second round? That's possible too. That way you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? That way you draft a right tackle. So now you got yourself your right tackle. You slide Neal in the guard, right? So then you take so maybe we might only need 1 guard. Who knows, maybe, and there's plenty of guards in free agency on the cheap that you can get for $4, $5, $6 million, whatever it is this season. There's plenty of guards, right, that the Giants can get. So I mean, the Giants can almost come close to fixing their offense, in if they're going to draft a quarterback, right? It's just if they fall in love with McCarthy or whoever, somebody falls to him, whoever, right? And they said in the second round, they can get themselves a really good wide receiver. And then they can draft either a tackle or a guard in the second round as well, too. And, then they would have a bunch of young studs going forward, right? And they get rid of Daniel Jones after next season, right? And they'd have themselves a quarterback. You can grab yourself a couple running backs if you don't bring back Saquon. Right, you have a bunch of young wide receivers. You have a relatively young offensive line. You got yourself a young quarterback. If Waller's gone, you got Bellinger, who's still young. You can draft a nice tight end next season. Right, you can also draft yourself a blocking tight end this season too, in the fifth, sixth round. Next season, if you want, maybe in the second round, whatever, and you can draft maybe a receiving tight end, and then you'd be almost set in a perfect world. In a perfect world, right? And then finally, how about bringing back an old friend, huh? Man's got a little nastiness to him. Apparently, he was one and done in DC, the Commanders. None other than Nick Gates himself. It looks like he's out there going to be looking for a new home this season coming up. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about versatility? This man's got it. Let's go over. Let's go over. I mean, he's played pretty much every position. He's played every position on the offensive line. Now, this past season with the Commanders, he did struggle, and basically, when the game against the Giants, when the Giants beat him at MetLife Stadium, Sexy Dexy kind of ate him up pretty much. He graded out at a 26 pass blocking grade against Sexy Dexy. Sexy ate him up. So then he got benched, and then they brought him back toward the end of the season. But I mean, overall, he got benched or whatever, and they let him go. Right? They want to go in a different direction. But he's 6'6", 310 pounds. Right? But they want to go in a different direction. But, I mean, at the end of the season, his overall offensive grade was a 66.1. His run blocking was a 70.9. His pass block was a 61.4. Now, he doesn't maybe have to be a starter, right? You can bring him in. He's got versatility up the yin-yang. Now, let's go back to 2023. He was the center. 2022. When he was with the Giants, let's see. He played left tackle, center, left guard. All right. 2021, that's when he got injured. He played center and left guard. 2020, he played center. And 2019, he played left tackle, and right guard. So he's played every position. He's played left guard, and that, unfortunately, the left guard, that's when he got walked back and he wound up snapping his leg when he's played left guard. But he's played every position. He's played right guard. He's played left guard, although he haven't played left guard just a little bit, but he did play left guard. He's played center. He's played right tackle. He's played left tackle. He's played every position on the offensive line. You need somebody with some versatility. This is your guy, right? I'm sure he'll come cheap. Now, let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. It talks about how much he's owed here. Nick Gates here. Ex-offensive lineman Nick Gates is one and done with the Washington Commanders. Nick Gates' time in Washington has come to an end a year after Gates bolted the New York Giants for a 3-year, $16.5 million contract, $8 million guaranteed. The Washington Commanders have informed the versatile interior offensive lineman that he will be released with the league year starts in mid-March. Gates played 44 games, including 29 starts for the Giants from 2019 to 2022. He returned in 2022 after the gruesome leg injury, playing in 10 games and starting in 8 of them. The Commanders signed him last offseason to be their starting center, hoping he would anchor their offensive line. Things didn't work out as hoped. He didn't play unbelievably horrible. He did give up some sacks and some pressures and all of that. But Gates played in 13 games with 10 starts. He was replaced in the starting lineup midway through the season. Basically, after he got annihilated pretty much. Sexy Dexy made him look really bad. Really bad. The Commanders will still owe Gates $1.99 million in guaranteed salary when they cut him. While Gates was a popular player in both the Giants locker room and the fan base, at first blush, a reunion with the Giants seems unlikely. While Gates can play all three interior offensive line positions, and the Giants will spend the offseason trying to improve both the starting line and the depth, they seem to make little effort to keep Gates a season ago. It is hard to see that changing this time around. Gates, though, did finish the 2023 season with a respectable 66.1 Pro Football Focus grade. The only Giants offensive lineman with a higher grade was Andrew Thomas, who was 76.1. So, I mean, right. So, I mean, once again, he signed a 3-year, $16.5 million. So basically $5.5 million a year. Now, once again, I don't know if the Giants are going to, bring him back once in, because, they didn't necessarily try to keep him last season. They let him go. And it was only $5.5 million a season, right? And I don't know what he's going to try to command. Is he going to try to go for 4 or 5? Is he going to try to get 6 or 7? Who knows? But, you do know, as I said, either go in there and let him compete, especially at one of the guard positions. Let him compete, right? We have not had phenomenal offensive line coaching since he's pretty much been here. Now we got Carmen Basillo here, who does seem to be a pretty good offensive line coach. He did some pretty nice things with the Raiders last season with a first rounder, a third rounder, a fifth rounder, and I think 2 undrafted free agents. They were pretty functionable. Sounds right. But, so hopefully when he comes here with the Giants, makes the Giants offensive line unit a lot better, right? So maybe he can make Nick Gates a little bit better, but there's no denying the guy's played all 5 offensive line positions. Bring a guy in for $4 or $5 million a season. Bring him in for a trial. We'll bring you back. We'll give you $4 million, $3 million guaranteed, whatever, right? Whatever. We got a couple open spots. We got 2 guard spots that are open. If you want to battle for the tackle spot, hey, if you want it, God bless you. Let's go for it, right? But Rosillo might make you a little bit better of a blocker. Now, but also, it's kind of like, where are we at here? Oh, there we go. Now here, say he graded out. Let's see. Washington graded out 66.1. His seasons with the Giants in 2022, he graded out as 60, 63.9 in 2021. 2020 is 59.7. His rookie season, first season, 2019. Actually, you got his first season was 2018, but the first time he played 291 snaps in 2019. He graded out as 77. That was his best overall season. But after that, his next 3 seasons with the Giants were grading out wise were worse than what he graded out at in Washington. His run blocking last year was a 70.9. Right, not bad. His pass block was a 61.4. But you consider what 61.4, right, compared to what the Giants guys were grading out at. But he did. Oh, wait, that is. Wait, let me see here. 2023 last season with the Commanders. He gave up 21 pressures and 5 sacks. But as I said, he played like maybe 2/3 of the snaps. So if he started all the games, played all the snaps, didn't get hurt and all of that, he probably would have gave up 7 or 8 sacks for the season, which is not very good. And he probably would have gave up probably 30 to 35 pressures on the season, which is not ideal either. He certainly could do better. But with better coaching, maybe he can cut those numbers down. But it's just a thought. Somebody, you're looking for versatility. You're looking for a swing tackle. Looking for versatility. You're looking for somebody tough, right? Who willing to go in there and battle for a position, right? And versatile, a veteran, and somebody cheap. Right? I'd love to see Nick Gates come back here, but if he don't come back here, I wish him nothing but the best wherever he does go. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 4 minutes. Whoever's listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants.